people that are on here today, but if you want us to specifically see your question in the chat, please put question in all caps, and then we'll be sure that Alana will be able to grab your question. If you have a question, we can address it at that time. So that's pretty much how we're going to roll. Kevin, do you have any words to kick us off?
No, just really excited to be here. I appreciate you, Alina, giving us some time for the partnership and for everybody else for making time to be on the call. I think there'd be a lot of good content, some insights that might be exciting for everybody.
Yep, super excited. And then for anybody who maybe you're asking, or thinking in your head, is this being recorded? I think you got the message that it was, and there will be a replay sent out after this for you all. So, and you want to take some notes, great. If not, you can watch back. I still recommend you take notes because we're going to cover quite a bit of good stuff today. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, all right. You want to get kicked off, Kevin? I want to take it away.
Yeah. So first, an introduction. I'm Kevin Wall. I work for DCX. I'm the VP of Roofing for DCX. DCX has been in business for about 5 years. Started initially in the promo product swag e-commerce space, but about a year and a half ago, noticed we had several roofing clients, and that the our model worked really well in roofing. And so for the last year and a half, we've been growing our roofing industry, and I'm now their VP of Business Development. I've been in construction most of my life, and before DCX, I spent about 3 years with Job Nimbus as their director of partnerships. And that's how Alina and I met. She has a fantastic product and program, and I knew that it fit right in line with what DCX did. And so one of the first things I did when I came on with DCX was wanted to make sure I connect with Alina and found a way to partner together.
Yep, awesome. Very good. For those of you that are just meeting me, Alina Wilson, or Estimate Mastery, I have been teaching contractors for over 13 years now. It's pretty amazing how much I've seen in 13 years. And I've worked with over 2,000 roofing and exterior contractors to help them maximize their insurance side of their business and really, hone in the processes that it takes to be successful when working with insurance companies, because it can either be a drag on your business, like we're going to talk today, or it could be something that's just a machine that hums along and just prints money. And I would like the latter for you, which is why I'm glad you're in the room with us today. So that's my background. I've been an Xactimate certified trainer and other things. So I think what the real thing that would be beneficial for you to know is I've worked with a lot of contractors and seen what works and what doesn't. So what we're covering today, Kevin, are you going to do the first two and I'll take the second two, or vice versa? I forget.
Yeah, so I think you had the top two, but it doesn't matter.
I'll take the top two. Supplementing affects profit on every job. What we mean by that, like I said, I've seen a lot of people's businesses. And what I usually see when we start working with contractors or even meet with them just to see how their business is going with the insurance side of things, because in a business, you have retail and then you've got insurance work, right? We're talking about the insurance work over here. That's what we help you with. And we help you to make the level of profitability that you should. And money is great, but the time and effort and all the other waste that comes along with doing those jobs is part of it. So it's two parts. We'll tack profit first. Basically, when I start working with roofers, I see that they're leaving at least 25% behind on every single job they do for insurance. So for example, if you have a $20,000 roof and gutter project, you're leaving 5 grand behind simply because you don't know what you don't know. We're going to talk about that today. I would say once you get your systems and processes honed in and you've got everything rock and rolling, you should be more at the 40% level. I don't like to blow people's minds too much, but if you're leaving 8,000 on a $20,000 job, that's a lot of profit that's in the insurance company's pockets and not yours. And so I want to help you with that. The second piece is the time and the challenges that it presents. Most business owners in general, I'm in some high level entrepreneurial mastermind groups, they're the same. It's just like us as business owners and us wearing all the hats. It's you kind of throw spaghetti to see what works, especially on the insurance side of things, and things change not very rapidly. That is a blessing about being part of the insurance side of business. They are kind of dinosaurs, but they do like to throw new things at us, like stability, ITEL pricing. Now I'm not going to pay you O&P because you didn't meet my 3 trade rule, things like that. Those are all smoke and mirrors, in my opinion, but they're put in place to frustrate contractors. And I don't think that the insurance companies are evil or anything, but they do throw up these roadblocks to make us frustrated and kind of give up and say, you know what, it's not worth the time to have to deal with this. That's how they keep their profits in their corner. So my job is to, yes, help you make more money on the insurance side of things. That's what we're going to talk about today. And then secondly, help you clear those roadblocks by the way your systems and processes are set up, to set you up for success, really, and stop throwing spaghetti everywhere. So that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. And to build on that, so one of the other things we're going to talk about is how to bring that supplementing back in-house. A lot of roofers will offload their insurance work to a third-party supplementing company, and there are a lot of them out there, and there's several that are good. And again, Alina's like, look, throw spaghetti on the wall, whatever works, works. Well, if you give the money back, if you give that business to a supplementing company, yeah, they're going to get extra money for you. But where Lena's talking, you have $4,000 extra on a job or $8,000 extras on a job. If you have 5 or 6 or 7 of those in a month and a supplement company is charging you 10 or 15%, you're now paying, $8,000 to $12,000 ish or more a month to another company to do what you can do in-house. And if you are just one account, uh, among 10 or 15 or 20 accounts or 30 or 50 accounts that supplement company is managing, you're not going to be top of the line. You're not going to be the top priority. You're going to be just another file in their file. And a lot of roofers give up on the supplementing because it just takes too damn long to get paid, right? They're fighting for money from insurance companies months and months and months later. If we can show you how you can bring that work back in-house, the estimate mastery is going to teach you how to maximize every claim. And if you partner with DCX, we can get you a bud in the seat doing that work for you for pennies on the dollar. And you're saving tens of thousands of dollars a month, and you are top priority because these are your own employees.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So we'll talk more about that if that piqued your interest. Don't worry, we're not kind of going to go in that lane quite yet, but yeah, that's what we're going to talk about at the end of the call today. So let's get into how small misses equal big money left on the table, just like the slide says. So my knowledge that I have of what I do and why I've been able to help make contractors so successful is I used to own a third party supplementing business. And so what worked in that business, I got to kind of play in a little sandbox over there. Like, do we add line items in a separate folder on the estimate? Do we format it this way? All of those things that I did for testing, I now teach contractors because I know that they work, and we have boots on the ground that tells us every day, this is working, this is the best way it's just been amazing. So I used to own a third party. Why do I bring that up? They have their place, like Kevin said, for overflow work and other reasons. Perhaps you just don't have the capacity in your business. You don't have an admin that can do this for you. I get that, but there is a time and place where that needs to come back in house, and that's what we're going to talk about today. That we have some solutions for you. So we talk about small listers and big money left on the table. It really is death by a thousand cuts where the profitability leaks out of the estimate. So I'm going to talk about these sections here, and there's actually 3 items under each section. So if you're taking notes, I would just put documentation. The slide says, missed line items and low hanging dollars. And it's about leaving O&P behind as well. So with documentation, what am I talking about? Number 1 on your list is going to be photos. Photos are literally worth thousands of dollars. In our supplement company, I would be asked to write a $42,000 roof and siding job. They'd send me 4 photos. 2 photos of circled hail hits on the roof. The roof was already bought, people. Not helpful. The third one was of the chimney. Oh, great. They have a chimney. Thank you. And the fourth one is of the grass. And I'm supposed to write a $42,000 estimate and get it paid by the insurance company. So the first thing with documentation is going to be photos. And the more you can systematize those photos with your team, even if you're outsourcing now, That's going to be a big lever that you have control over right now, is to get the right photos the first time. I'm not talking about driving out to the job 5 or 6 times for missed photos. That's where time and energy leaks out of your business as well. Get a system in place. We here at Estimate Mastery have a photo checklist that they must turn in order to move to the next step of the job. You can also incentivize this with your salespeople. Like, I'm a salesperson, I want to knock more doors, I don't want to be taking photos, I don't know what you're talking about. Or whoever's doing your inspections, you can incentivize this, because it literally is the first place you can stop money leaking out the door. So one example of a great photo that I would say is, we hear a lot, especially State Farm recently. I was in a Facebook group last night, and they were like, the person posting was like, State Farm won't pay for my space decking because they said that the decking wasn't damaged by hail. And I was like, ooh, that's a squirrely one. So what would they need? They would need to show the path of what's called consequential damages. I had to take this shingle off. Now I have to remove the felt. Now I've got this underlayment that I'm not going to be able to have. It's a non-nailable surface, right? It has nothing to do with whether that decking was damaged by the hail, right? And so, not the flashing is also maybe a better example of that, because you can't reuse a damaged flashing. So a picture of, just taking 5 seconds and pulling up the edge of a shingle, taking a picture of the flashing with the nail through. Obviously that flashing was not damaged by the hail. The nail through the flashing is what it is causing the quote unquote damage. But things like that, it's very hard to build those kinds of cases and get all of your components and accessories and other things paid if you don't have, visual evidence that this is what is going on. So number one is your photos. Number two, it's going to be, for the documentation piece, is going to be, if you most policies have code upgrade. I wouldn't talk about code upgrade, but I would have the code ready and available. So when they say, well, that's not, that wasn't damaged by hail and it's not required. Well, actually, per the 2018 IRC code for Inglewood, Colorado, we have to have, when the flashing is damaged, it must be replaced, and that's part of the code. So having the second piece, if you're taking notes, first one's photos, second one's be code documentation. There's up.codes, I think is the website that you can go find stuff for free. There's paid apps that are really cheap, like one-click code, that you can use to support as evidence, and that would be your second piece of documentation. Third, I would just build a bank. I don't care if you use ChatGPT. I don't care what you do. Be a human though. Read your ChatGPT. I would say, explain to me, like I'm 7 years old, why I need to replace this flashing. Sometimes the adjusters just don't know what they don't know. So the third piece with documentation is building a bank. So what we have is a saved ChatGPT chat where, I can go immediately. I have an ongoing thread. I've trained it like, this is what I would need from you. And then to share with my team, we just have an objection crushing document where on a Google Drive, they can go search, Control F, flashing, and they can look at the different objection crushers that have worked. I don't save anything that didn't work. So there's a little bit of groundwork you'd need to do, but that's a system. The system is, I've got a photo for it, code is requiring it, and I'm going to explain it to you like you're 7 years old, not because I would demean adjusters, but sometimes they don't know the why behind it. And sometimes your employees don't either, to be honest. So sometimes they even need to understand. So it just puts it in really simple terms for them. So those are the three pieces of documentation that you could start using today that would really move the needle. Code, what was the name of the code app? Yeah, I think it's up.codes. Is that? Hang on one second. Let me get I bookmark it, which is why I'm questioning myself, because I don't type it in. Up.codes. And then one-click code is the actual app. So let me give you both of these resources. Yeah, that's right. 2 seconds here. So that's the free one. And then one-click code. Full disclosure, they are a referral partner. So if you tell them Estimate Mastery sent you, I think you can get a free report or a really discounted report for you to give them a try. They're excellent. All right. Any questions on the 3 documentation matters? Right? So missed line items. You have those 3 things in place, it starts to get your line items paid. I guarantee you, I shouldn't say this, the vast majority of third-party supplement companies aren't doing those first 3 basic fundamental things. Okay. Speed wins. What is this? What, Alina, what does that mean? Well, if I can get you more money through documentation in your pocket faster, I think you'd be pretty happy with me. So with speed, the three things that you want to note here is it's just like if you're ever been in sales, the fortunes and the follow-up. So how fast can you create that estimate? That would be number one. How fast can we create an estimate that's properly documented? Or the third party, how fast are they turning that around for you? That matters. Secondly, what is your system of follow-up? So you have to have a follow-up system. What that looks like is contacting the adjuster 3 times every 48 hours apart. And of course, I don't count the weekends. So if you call on a Friday, maybe Monday or Tuesday would probably be the more appropriate, the 48-hour mark. So those 3 touch points, the fortunes and the follow-up. If I don't hear from the adjuster on the 3rd touch point after 48 hours, in between those touch points, I will then call in the main line of the insurance company if they have one. Now, I understand smaller insurance companies a little bit harder to get like into the company and get to a supervisor, but then I start that process with the supervisor. Hey, State Farm, let's say Allstate, I've got claim number, blah, blah, blah. I'm working with Mr. Smith. This adjuster that has been assigned has been non-responsive. I have a non-responsive adjuster in my hand. Could I speak to a supervisor? So first thing, get that estimate out the door. Second is your fortunes in the follow-up with those touch points. Third would be escalating to the adjuster. Supervisor. And then I would contact that supervisor after that. And that's really the piece that's missing in 98% of roofing companies, to be honest. They don't have a system for follow-up. It's whenever Sally feels like calling the adjuster, which could be every 3 weeks instead of every 48 hours. And then with the supplement companies, I can't speak for all of them, but I would be very surprised to see if they have a tight system, that they're actually working your files that way, that they can prove to you that they're actually that high touch. So that's gonna be your speed. And then that causes, just like in a sale, the more that you follow up, the more you're doing your due diligence, the faster you get a hold of somebody. Now, if an investor's like, look, I can't get to you for 2 weeks, at least he's told you that. And at least now you can bam fam, you can book a meeting from the meeting. Okay, Mr. Smith, I'm going to call you on February 11th. How does that sound? Or whatever 2 weeks is from now. I'm going to be following up with you. And then you set the tone for what the next action is going to be in that relationship. And that's the same thing that you do with sales. You book a meeting from a meeting, and hold them accountable to that. So I could talk about this all day. It's one of my favorite things, but that's it in a nutshell when we talk about speed wins. Questions there? And your CRM should be able to serve that up to you. That's if you're using one. You should be able to get a system in place that it's organized if you're using a CRM. And then thirdly, accuracy pays. So what do we mean by this? A lot of line items are missed simply because there isn't what's being used called macros in Xactimate. Symbility actually has it too. It's more of a shopping cart style. I think it might still be called a shopping cart. If not, it's called like a box of items that you can add to an estimate in Symbility. But basically, you want a pre-written list of line items that cover everything that should go on that roof, siding, or gutter job. And I divide them up by component, like the shingle component. So we'll have a 30-year laminate macro or box of line items. We'll have a 50-year high impact box of line items. If you're working in Florida, we have a tile, if you ever do tile roofs. So that's what I'm trying to say. And then we have our vinyl siding, we have our wood siding, and those types of things. So all the lists of line items that you could ever use on that job, so that everybody in the office, or if you're using a supplement company, ask them, do they use macros? Because what that creates is a rinse and repeat process. So everybody's writing the estimates in the same way every time. And so with that much organization, you're thinking, Alina, why would I add 80 line items to a roof? We're never going to use them all. No, but it acts as a checklist because they have to deal with the line item or delete it off. When I was writing estimates, I'd always leave chimney flashing off. My eyes just don't see it. But if it's on the estimate, I'm like, is there a chimney flash? Oh, it's on my list. Why? Oh, yeah, there is one. There's not one. It prompts the human to go look and make sure that it exists on the roof. And then you can build this templates out in a way that it has point number one, documentation, not the photos, of course, but it has code, manufacturer specs, the why built into the line items already. You've got a system on your hand. What do people buy? If you're going to be, if I sent you $100 million a day and you're like, I want to buy some businesses with that $100 million, what would you look for? What's the number one thing? Why does McDonald's exist? They have systems and processes. That's all this is, people. So when you become more accurate and you have a system in place, you have a well-oiled machine rather than, like I talked about, throwing spaghetti everywhere. So I didn't really give you 3 points on that one, but basically it's just have a system, use macros or whatever, um, you know, safeguards you can put in place so that everybody's writing the same thing in the same way every time. And again, most supplement companies, I'm not picking on them. I used to own one, so I know it's like, I know what it's like over there. So that's our 2 cents. Anything else to add, Kevin? I didn't really ask you between points. I just steamrolled.
No, I feel like I had my head wrapped around this a little bit, but every time you and I are together, like my jaw just drops with one, how much knowledge you have in your brain, but two, honestly, how complex this can be. But it's fun, right? I mean, you can feel, and hear your passion in your voice, and there's so much here. I mean, it makes sense why a lot of roofers go with supplementing companies, but I mean, also with your system, then you make it manageable. And one of the reasons why I thought DCX and SMS would be great partners.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that very much. And yes, I get out of bed every day so I can help roofing companies stay in business. That's my job. Very passionate. So, okay, just a couple more things really quick. I think this is my slide, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I think this one's yours too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Two biggest challenges and why, and I understand why you'd want to outsource or not, just kind of let that side of the business, kind of run its course. And it's interesting when I go into contractors' establishments and I start working with them, it's like they hired Tom to write an estimate, sent him to some 3-day Xactimate training. And then you hired Sally because Tom was a little overwhelmed or he wanted to go do sales. And so the habits that Tom has are now on Sally, and then Sally quits. It's like this really weird game of telephone of like all these bad habits just rolling themselves like a tangled necklace. And it's just crazy. So what like going back to what I'm saying, at some point you get so frustrated, you're just like, I'm just going to outsource this to professionals who know what they're doing. And that's fine. But at some point, and I think that's why you might be in the room today, whether you're outsourcing or not, it's like, how do I fix this part of my business? Third parties are, like I said, are good for overflow, and there's reasons to use them, but the amount that they charge you as a business, when you start doing the math, if they're good at what they do and they're getting you, let's say 25%, then that is on a $20,000 job, they get you an extra 25%. That's $5,000, and they're going to charge you 10 to 15%. Some of them do it for cheaper, but you get what you pay for, just being honest. You're paying 500 to 750 a job. And if you're doing 10 jobs a month, that's a $7,500 piece that's a pretty good salary for someone if they want to bring it in house. And you have $50,000 here, Kevin. So I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot here. I didn't actually get to how you got that math. Was that from just like you're looking at if they're doing 50 jobs a month or?
Yeah, we got it. So I actually think we got the number from you, but I think you're like, look, big companies with big files can be 25 to $50,000 a month, and of course, we took the higher number, right? The brain hears what the brain wants to hear, right?
Fine. Yeah, but it's easy math for anybody that's in the room. Just take what you could, and that's kind of so the whole point of this discussion is it's going to cost you X amount to outsource. If you bring it in house, not only are you going to save that or pay a different, you don't have to pay that out in a salary. You can incentivize it instead. And then when you bring it in house, you have control over it. That's the whole point of this conversation is, you get to, nobody cares about your child more than you. And I say that about the jobs. Why are you outsourcing something that and we can show you here in a second how easy it is to bring it back in house, when you can just wrap your arms around it and really control the process and squeeze all the juice from the lemon. That's easily there on the table for you. So especially whenever it's storm season and you've got tons of work on your plate, it seems daunting. We're about to get into that season, which is why we're going to address that now. If you have the systems in place and that your person trained now, it'll serve you when that next storm hits. And then if if we don't fix this now, everything kind of, yes, you can ship it over to that third party when you feel overwhelmed. But if you start now, that's the whole point. If you plant, when's the best time to plant a tree? Today, because you want the fruit as soon as possible. So, also the other thing that happens with third parties is the time. So, yes, you can sell these jobs, and yes, you can put them in their court, but how long is it going to be before you start getting those checks? I'm hearing anywhere from eight weeks to 6 months right now is like on average. Everybody's kind of all over the place. So I isn't really say like an average right now in the industry, but it seems to be months and months. And so what does that do for you? As the slide says, now you're waiting for that supplement third party to go out and get that agreed upon RCV, get the checks rolling in. Now you have to go get those checks from the homeowners, and all the whole time you're waiting on all this, you've got, your bills are coming in, your payroll, material invoices, and of course the supplement company wants to be paid, so they want their bill paid. It's just like this cycle of feeling like you've dug yourself a hole, really is what it feels like. So that's the other thing. It's not only the cost of the supplement company, it's how long is it taking them to close your files and get your checks in your hand. There we go. That's the long way of saying that. There you go.
Awesome.
Kevin, anything to add, Kevin?
No, I think you're right. And this next slide kind of, highlights all of this, right? These are just two kind of funny gifs of stressed out offices or people looking for files or paperwork when they're on the phone with someone. But, I mean, Elena, you're talking about photos and documentation and, and all things that revolve a storm restoration file. You're talking about turnover and and bad habits and all the things that happen. It does make sense why it's easier sometimes to just farm that out um, to a third party supplementing company. One of the reasons why DCX wanted to partner with Estimate Masters so much is because we solve a lot of the administrative headache that can bog down, a roofing owner's life. I know a lot of roofers got into roofing because they're good with their hands or they're good with people or whatever else, but the administrative work and the file work and the paperwork, the clerical, the logistical, that's a little bit of a different animal. And DCX is happy to manage that for you. So, how can we partner DCX's ability to bring global talent, remote workers from the Philippines to roofers' businesses and estimate mastery? If you can bring all of that supplementing, all of that insurance, all that storm work in-house, you're going to save money. You're going to get paid faster. You're going to maximize these things. You're going to maximize these files, but we still are dealing with some of the turnover and the retention and somebody, managing that process, making sure that it's done the right way. So DCX partnered with Estimate Mastery, and here's what we did. So DCX, we have a bullpen of people, right? We find and hire the best global talent in the Philippines. We are the best place to work in the Philippines, and we have people coming to us for work. We hire them and we run them through, first we run them through a 4-week intensive course to get them familiar with the roofing industry. We teach them roofing knowledge, vocabulary, how a roof gets replaced, common technologies, the job nimbuses and AccuLynxes and Eagle Views of the world. We teach them that technology, and then we stick them in a bullpen. And when we have roofers who are looking for employees, if skill sets match job descriptions, we give them to roofers to interview. Well, with Estimate Mastery, now what we've done is we've partnered with them in their courses and have created an Exactimate, a supplementing course. So we pull people from that initial bullpen, give them additional training, get them Exactimate certified, and teach them Elena's coaches, Elena's curriculum, Elena's forums. We teach them how to build these files. We teach them how to manage these processes. We teach them the templates and the macros that are necessary so that this can become a streamlined process. And now, in addition to a bullpen of roofing certified people, We have people who are now Xactimate certified with access to estimate masteries, coaches and systems and trainings and all of that. And for the cost, for a fraction of the cost of a normal office employee, we can give these employees to you to bring that work in-house. So, what that really looks like, and there's something goofy it feels like going on with this slide, but we'll run with it. So our roofing academy, which you talked about, right? Running them through all of this time to teach them the roofing industry, and then building on that estimate mastery certification, which we talked about. So building step upon step, line upon line, and then the cream on top is that ongoing support from estimate mastery, from their coaches, from their forums, their content, all the stuff that, as everybody on this call except Alina, right? Our jaws just hit the floor when we talk about when we listen to Alina talk and everything she has going on in her brain and her passion. Imagine having office personnel who have access to that 24 hours a day, who are working for you with all that access to help get these files for you paid quickly, and for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I was excited to partner with you. Is sometimes it's finding the right who's to do this support these businesses, and so that's why the DCX solution was exciting to us. So
to that point, and I probably have not done all that I could to explain really what DCX is or what, but are there any questions up until now? I don't know that there's a lot more to cover, but anything that anybody wants to ask or say?
The basic
a lot.
program, from what I understood when I first saw Alina on Facebook, is a little over $10,000.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, I'm a startup, and just to give you a quick synopsis, I work for a roofing company. I signed $4.6 million worth of insurance contracts in 9 months, didn't get paid, and I started my own roofing company because of it.
Love that. But I hate
I,
it for you, but you're gonna kill it. Go ahead.
so that's kind of where I'm at, is literally I've got two contracts. I got them before I even got my license through the state of Oklahoma. I know the process. I've worked with IAs and PAs. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm getting the most bang for my buck to where I can scale this thing in the next 3 to 5 years and sell it and move on, because I'm 58. I don't want to work until I'm 90.
Love it. Okay, Alana, will you drop the link, please? Why don't you have a conversation with Kevin? I'll be open and honest. He's cheaper than I am initially, for sure. See if it makes sense. The reason I charge what I charge is because I get immediate results, but I know that's scary. Not scary. That's not what I mean to say, but it's daunting when there's not a storm yet and you don't have 50 jobs lined up, right? So yeah, have a conversation with Kevin, see if it makes sense. I'll also if you ever want to reach out to me, anybody who has any questions, you can always email me. I'll give you my personal email address. I don't do that very often. Not that it's hard to figure out what my email is, obviously. But yeah. I'm sorry, sir. What's your name?
Michael, last name's Dalek, Dalek.
Nice to meet you, sir. And wish you the best. And you're gonna. I think you're gonna do really well. But it's true. You do want to get everything in the ground. You know, everything in the beginning set up what's going to serve the business, right? I'm not here to ever sell you something you don't need or talk to you, yeah, into
Well,
anything.
making sure, for instance, making sure hail trace is in place, because as far as I'm concerned with what I've used, it's the best in the business. Making sure that I've got this. I've got one claim right now that they bought the lower roof on a carport and the dwelling on a condo, but I've got an air conditioning unit that's beat up on four sides that they don't want to pretend that it's there, that needs to be moved so that the roof can be done. Well, it just happens to be old enough that the Freon that's inside of that unit is no longer available. So now they're not only going to buy the rooftop, they're going to buy the inside.
Right.
But I want to make sure my profit and overhead. So this is literally a $13,000 job that should be closer to 30.
Yes, I agree with you.
So
Yep.
that's, to me, investing into myself and my future, whether it's working with one or both of you. I want to get this stuff done and ironed out on the front end so I can literally let this thing run on autopilot and start bringing people in and paying them commissions, whether they door to door. I use a lead service that I can actually do to where I can scale this thing and go from me to 3 guys, 5 guys, 8 people. It doesn't matter, to get
Yep.
it as big as I need to get it. I see the value because of working with an IA and watching a commercial contract on a church that went from 700,000 to 3.4 million. So the value of what you guys do and the knowledge that you have is worth every penny of it. I get it. I really get it.
But you got to do what serves what point of business you're in. I'm
Right.
usually coming around a 3.5 on up $1 million
Right.
business. That's where it makes sense for me to work with people. So, and that's it's you're going to get there, and you just have to build it up. But no, I love your mindset. You're going to kill it, and yeah, thank you for voicing. A lot of people don't like to unmute, so I really appreciate you
Yeah,
having a
no worries.
conversation.
In DCX, Alina says that we're less expensive initially. What we did is we negotiated with Alina kind of an economy of scale situation, right? Where, she's $10,000 to $12,000 for her course. We're about $2,500 for a full-time employee. So imagine getting somebody for 40 hours a week, for every week forever, working only for you in your time zone, right? But having access to this $10,000 to $12,000 system, for us, it's working out because we're providing Alina and SM Mastery a lot of these employees at a discount per employee. And so from that economy of scale, the idea is we now give access to you. One, the process is the HR support on the backside, which we didn't talk about. We can dive in if you want to book time on my calendar. But there's a lot of front end work and then some HR, admin, and management that we give you, so that these Filipino employees who are coached and trained and exact certified can have access to SM Mastery's, knowledge base, build these out for you, maximize all these files. So
So that's 2,500 a week or a month or what is
a
that?
month,
A
a
month?
month.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'd
I
like to
think
know.
I think dollar for dollar, it ends up being about $16 an hour. It's not totally, it's not exactly that because we have benefits. They have full time benefits, and so it's a total compensation package that equates to about $16 an hour.
Okay. I'd like to know more for sure because, like I said, getting this to where I can get more hands off and get it where it's scalable, that's where the money is at. Me doing this and running it, I've watched other people do it. Wearing all the hats is not how you're going to get there. You have to be able to delegate and you have to trust the body of people underneath you to make this work.
Yeah, awesome. And you said it was Michael, right?
Yes, sir.
By chance, are you going to be at Hill Trace's event next week in Denton,
Denton, where's that at? Texas?
Texas? Yeah, I know you're Oklahoma. That's kind of North Texas.
Yeah, okay, yeah, OKC. Um,
Okay. Yeah, you're
I'm
3 hours
not,
away.
I'm not sure what dates is it?
Think it's a week from tomorrow. I think it's like February 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be a week
Anyway,
from tomorrow.
I'll be there. If you thought you might be there, come find me and we can if you booked on my calendar, obviously, but I'll be in Denton if you'd be in that area. So
Yeah, I mean, if there's any, how do I go about getting booking time with you?
So there's a link
so
in the chat here, and then we're going to send out a follow-up email that's going to have a
Oh,
replay of this with
okay,
all of Kevin's information.
awesome. That works. Yeah, and if
Yes,
I can get
sir.
down to Texas next week, definitely I'd love to do in person for sure.
okay, cool. Yeah, if you want to drop even your email in the chat, I'll give you some follow-up information on where that could be, where we could meet in person. And but yeah, my booking link is in the chat too.
Okay.
Any other
Awesome.
comments?
Yeah, anybody else have questions? Let us know. Otherwise, anybody can book a call with Kevin, and anyone can email me. So you'll get the follow-up from us as well.
Yeah.
Coming your way.
So I think that this is the last slide before you get to our contact information, but really ultimately the idea behind this webinar, what we talked about, and we spent a lot of time, is there's a lot of money to be made in storm restoration work. I think storm restoration work counts for something like 30% of the roofing industry. There are those that love it, there are those that don't, but really for the most part, people who don't love it say it's because it takes too long to get paid and the profit margins aren't there. Hopefully, Alina has shown you in our short conversation today that there's an opportunity to add, overhead and profit. There's opportunity to add line items. There's an opportunity to maximize these insurance quotes. You can make money in storm restoration work. In reality, if you do it the right way, you can save money on the processes to get it done. We can save you money. This partnership between DCX and SMaster, we can save you money. We can get you paid faster. Um, you can be top billing on all these files. And then in addition to just all of that, the most important thing is as business owners is you're staying in control. You know, you can message your employee and say, hey, where are we at on this file? Right. And get an up to the minute update. We can tweak how often we're reaching out to the claims adjusters. If there's a file that's slow to pay, we can put more pressure on that. You have all the control when you bring that work in-house, right? Either through outsourced through the Philippines, like what DCX does, or if you have the processes in place and you have the people in place that you don't need any more offshore help. Alina's course and access to her course, I cannot recommend it enough. She is absolutely um, Todd, her father, they call him the Todd father, right? He built this industry. So I can't call you the Todd mother. We got to find some cute name for you, Alina, in this
I'll
industry.
work on
But
that. I'll work on that for you,
yeah,
Kevin.
anyway, just in summary, there's a lot to be made on the insurance side, but keep it in house, right? Don't farm it out. Don't spend the money you don't have to spend, and we can help you do that.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, and there's our contact. I am smart. You're smarter than I am. I forgot about this slide. So, yeah, there's our contact info. And then I think at this time we can now do the drone giveaway. Kevin?
Yeah, I think Alana, did you draw that name?
Yeah. I put everyone's name in a little checklist thing, and the winner is Rich Gross.
Well, hey, look at him. He's
Cool.
right there on camera.
Awesome. That's great
Cool.
news.
So what's next steps with that, Kevin? I actually didn't clarify that with you when we were meeting. Like, how are
No,
you?
Rich, if you want to drop your information into the chat, just in the odd chance that it's not captured just the right way, I will connect with you after this call. We'll figure out how to get that drone shipped out to you. It's an amazing drone, Autel. The DJIs are being held up at the port, but Autel got great reviews. It's a commercial. It's got, I think, 2 or 3 batteries, lots of cameras, video capable. I mean, it's an amazing drone, about a $2,500 value. So, if you use hover, it'll be great. But you will not have a deficit of pictures for
That's what
Alina's
to say. Lots
for
of pictures.
those files.
Not having photos is no longer an excuse
Not
for
for
Rich.
Rich.
Do you want just my phone number in that, or
Put your email and phone number,
Okay.
and we'll connect.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Cool.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. Are there any final questions before we adjourn? Alina, anything else that you didn't get to say that you wanted to?
No, but I just do want to reiterate, it really is all about how much attention you pay. Where you focus your attention is what grows. And so if you really want to get your hands on around your insurance processes and everything, that we can help you focus whatever, avenue you take. And there really is so much money on the table that contractors leave behind every day that I'm very excited that you guys were here in the room today to hear all of this, because I think that you've got more information on your hands than most guys out there. So
I do
lots
have
of
one,
potential.
I do have one question, if it's okay. I can read scope as far as Xactimate just fine, but as far as writing it, I've never done because it's never been part of what I was involved with. What's the best place to go to get the basics, to get me familiar with what I want to do?
My YouTube channel.
Okay.
Okay. When you call Verisk, I'll give you the number. I would not order online. I would call and chat with somebody, even though I know it's a pain in the butt. 1-800-424-9228. I have to say it out loud. I can't just there we go. So that's the Verisk. That's who makes Xactimate. You can pay monthly and get the desktop version. You do not need the professional version at this time. Do not let them talk you into that. And you can pay monthly until it's time for you to go yearly, because you're going to save a ton of money. There might be a break price point, like the 3-month block, that'll save you some money right now, but you can go monthly. You do not have to pay for the professional for a year.
Okay.
You do not need to be talked into that. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for the heads up. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And yep, YouTube. And then you've got my email. If you have any questions, just email me. This is what I love doing. So
Sounds good. Thank you.
So you're welcome. All right, Kevin, I think we can call it, and we'll
Awesome.
follow up with you guys with an email, and wish you a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much.